Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. We take these massive, complex narratives, break them all down, and organize them so you can truly master the material. Okay, let's dive into this, because today we're tackling the absolute core mystery of Sung Jinwoo's powers from solo leveling. If you've been following his wild journey from the very beginning, you know the stakes have literally never been higher, and, well, the latest revelations, they are completely game-changing. So we've got to ask ourselves this massive lore question. What actually happens when the system is no longer needed? Just think about the timeline for a second. After learning all the underlying truths of the universe, inheriting the immense, ancient power of Ashborn, and standing his ground against enemies that are quite literally beyond human imagination, this is it. This is the final, lingering mystery that we have to solve. And the answer? It's surprisingly simple, yet profoundly earth-shattering. The system disappears. Bam! Just like that. Turns out, the system was never actually meant to exist forever. But more importantly, it wasn't the true source of Jinwoo's phenomenal power at all.
Part 1. The truth about the system. So the crucial point is, the system was merely a tool. It was a temporary training program, specifically created by the architect to fulfill one singular vital purpose, to prepare Sung Jinwoo's body and mind to successfully inherit the staggering power of the Shadow Monarch. Think of it like scaffolding, right? It was just designed to help him hold up the crushing weight of that magic, and really nothing more.
Once Jinwoo fully accepted Ashborn's power, that scaffolding came down. The system had completely fulfilled its purpose. And what does that actually mean for him? Well, no more daily quests demanding his constant attention, no more sudden level-up notifications saving his life in the absolute nick of time, and no more hovering status windows. From that pivotal moment forward, Sung Jinwoo's immense strength was truly, entirely his own. He had become the Shadow Monarch in every sense of the word.
Part 2. Worthy of the Shadow Monarch. Now, this brings us to the fandom's most burning question, doesn't it? Why Sung Jinwoo? Why not another S-rank hunter? Why not someone who was born stronger, or someone with incredible natural talent? Well, it wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't destiny. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why. Ashborn chose Jinwoo because of his character. While the system provided immense physical strength and highly effective leveling mechanics, Jinwoo brought the intangibles. We're talking courage, unwavering loyalty to his teammates and family, and an unbreakable will. Even back when he was known as literally the weakest hunter in the entire world, he never abandoned his people. He just kept standing back up after every single crushing defeat. The system could build his physical body, sure, but it could never create his courage. That was all Jinwoo. And in the end, that is exactly what made him truly worthy of the title.
Part 3. Beyond the system official facts.
Let's take a second to separate what we know from what we hope. Factually, Beyond the System is a canon continuation following Season 2. Emphatically, it is not a recap or a spin-off. It's designed to continue Jinwoo's story and directly set up the anime's next major chapter. But when it comes to the actual plot, well, fans are relying on informed expectations based heavily on the original manhwa. Based on where Season 2 ends, a lot of people are anticipating a return to the Double Dungeon, a massive confrontation with the Architect, and the truth behind Ashborn finally being revealed. But remember, until Aniplex and A1 Pictures actually show their hand, those remain expectations, not confirmed facts.
Let's move to and see how this builds in Part 4, the expanded universe.
You see, the chronological bridge to the sequel series, Solo Leveling Ragnarok, starts with the massive Monarch War. This then transitions into years of hard-fought peace, but, as you might guess, eventually dimensional enemies return to threaten Earth once again. And in this new era of crisis, the spotlight shifts. It moves directly to Jinwoo's son, Sung Suho, as he finally awakens.
It's a really fascinating generational shift. Think about the father versus the son for a minute. Sung Jinwoo started out as the weakest hunter alive, someone who entered dungeons fully expecting to die in a newly awakened, completely chaotic world. But Sung Suho, he awakens his extraordinary abilities in a world that has already been forever changed by his father's actions in the original story. Suho's journey is going to introduce brand new allies, entirely new enemies, and deep, deep mysteries that expand this universe far beyond just the ancient battle between the monarchs and the rulers. So for fans who thought Jinwoo's story was the end, it really was only the beginning.
Part 5. An unbreakable legacy.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the entire journey distills down to one undeniable truth. True strength is determined by how many times you are willing to rise after falling. Jinwoo started as someone everyone underestimated, yet through sheer determination, immense personal sacrifice, and that unbreakable will we discussed earlier, he became the strongest being on Earth. That grit and determination, that is the true legacy of the Shadow Monarch.
As we eagerly await the release of Beyond the System, the next anime season, or the eventual adaptation of Ragnarok, take a moment to really reflect on the sheer scale of these massive lore drops. Think about how much this universe continues to expand and surprise us in ways no one originally predicted.
So I leave you with this. Which revelation shocked you the most? The startling truth behind the system, Ashborn's massive sacrifice, or the deep lore of the ancient war? The world of solo leveling is vast, and the legend of the Shadow Monarch is clearly far from over. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, arise.